Okay, so let's dive into our live today. So guys, another really exciting thing that we're gonna be doing in this session is talking about our newest sexy hair icon. So picture yourself, it was about 25 years ago, sexy hairs just merging onto the market. We're starting to use spray and play. We're using root pump. We're like, what is this exciting product line that's in the salons now? Well, it's sexy hair. And another icon broke onto the scene about 25 years ago, who is now our newest sexy hair icon, Christina Aguilera. So we're so excited. If you guys are incessantly checking your emails the way I do, you would have saw about an hour ago, you got an email from Salon Centric announcing this partnership and this collaboration. We're so excited. Christina Aguilera obviously is an icon. She loves big sexy hair. As you can tell, this will be kind of my inspo photo for the day, but as you can tell, lots of volume, big, sexy. What a great collaboration. So again, we're so excited to have this partnership and get to, you know, essentially be inspired by someone like Christina Aguilera with creating some really cool styles. So today what we're going to be doing is recreating that iconic look. So I went ahead and prepped my mannequin a little bit so that, you know, we could fast forward a little bit of like I always think of the cooking shows where they pull the cookies out of the oven already done. So just to kind of backtrack a little bit on what I did to prepare, you know, this portion. Obviously our mannequin head has shorter hair, but we can absolutely always be inspired by, you know, these visuals and celebrities, red carpet looks. And so this is certainly, you know, that was the inspo photo, and we're just like in the salon, we work with what we've got to be able to make the client happy and be able to hit those requests that they have. Hey everybody, if you're just joining in with us, definitely leave us a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know your favorite sexy hair products. I will be going back at the end of the live, and if you guys have any questions, I'll make sure I go through and answer all those, address, you know, what the product was when I did this or that, or feel free to ask anything. I'm totally an open book. Well, maybe not anything, but anything to do with sexy hair. So let's again backtrack to what I did to prepare this mannequin. So this mannequin is, this client is highly processed, like very, very highly processed. Her hair is super fine. It was like a little stretchy. We won't say damaged, but we'll say a little stretchy. So hair like this really needs a lot of sustenance. It needs a lot of strength. It needs the ability to stretch and move without breaking. So it needs that elasticity. And the number one way we get elasticity in our hair is from collagen. So what's so great about our big system, so all of our Red Cam lineup that you guys see at Salon Centric, these products are going to be infused with collagen. And what's great about that is that especially when you're teasing, you're making these big, larger volumized styles, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of roughing up the hair. So not always do volumizing products think about the care and the health of the hair too. Our big sexy system will absolutely address all of the care needs that the hair has, but then obviously be able to provide you with, you know, really great lasting full volume. So again, to prep, I went through, while her hair was wet, I went through and sprayed a little bit of our root pump, which actually, this is really fun fact, this was the very first product that Sexy Hair ever had. So this is a girl who's turning 25, so cute. Anyway, so with root pump, I sprayed it at the root area, not on the scalp. I always like to, really specify that, because sometimes when we're applying root pump, it gets onto the actual scalp, and then it may become itchy for the client, and then they may not have a great opinion of the product. So I always like to remind us as stylists, it's, easy to aim for that part line, but aim just an inch or two away from the scalp so that the scalp isn't getting, too gunked up with product. So root pump on damp hair at the root area. I went through and did a volumized blowout. As I'm blowing the hair dry, I utilize our Big Sexy Hair High Standards. Guys, this has become my absolute favorite blow dry product. What's so cool about this product, it is not sticky at all. Sometimes whenever we look at this Big Sexy system, we're like, okay, these are gonna be for volume. It might get sticky. It might not have like the slip that I'm looking for a round brush blowout. But this one, I swear to you guys, it's gonna be your new holy grail. It's gonna provide you, so it's high standard. This is a blow dry spray. I'll get a little closer for you guys. And as a blow dry spray, what it's going to do is it's going to help prime the hair. So it's going to, fill in any differences of porosity. It's going to give the hair a nice even shine across the hair strand. It's also going to give you a nice little, I call it more of a cushion. Because sometimes when the hair is cushioned and like pillowy, it has that very like soft translation. So it gives it a very pillowy, soft volume, but also it will give you a little bit of slip and glide through your brush. So honestly, being able to have something that can protect the hair, condition the hair, but also give it volume at the same time, to me, like that's incredible. So I retail this product super easy by showing them. You just spritz it all over your hair. It's nothing crazy. You don't have to look for a certain zone. You don't have to worry. You almost don't even have to worry about using too much, because it really will make the hair just nice and volumized and never make it weighty or oily at all. So again, that is the Big Sexy Hair High Standards. And this is a newer product. So if you guys are used to sexy hair, you're like, oh yeah, we carry it, we got it at the salon. You may not have this one yet. So hop into Salon Centric and try out High Standards. Salon Centric is doing a really great promotion coming up soon too, where you can get experience multiple products at a really great price. So definitely check out that promotion that you guys will see. And also when you go into Salon Centric the next time, you're gonna see this beautiful display with Christina Aguilera and then all of our products displayed with it. So super excited for you guys to get in there and check that out. So used High Standards, finished this blowout, and then I went through and I needed to create this curl set. So I used a little bit of Spritz and Stay. While the hair was still really soft, I used just a light mist, a very light mist of Spritz and Stay over each strand, and then I brushed through those strands, then curled. I find that when you brush through those strands of hair and kind of break up the product, it allows it to have less chance of it sticking to the iron. I think that can sometimes happen whenever we're using a spray right before we use the iron. But if you just take a brush and break up the product and really let that product dry into the hair before hitting it with the curling iron, it won't have that sticky feel on that curling iron. So we let those curls cool. I always like to let the curls cool for at least 20 minutes. This lucky girl got to cool overnight, but usually 20 minutes is a great guideline. I always think, if we don't let the hair cool for that amount of time, if the hair is still warm and not completely in that set, when we release it, it totally is gonna lose some of that volume and then that, just that fullness and the shape that we originally intended for. So let all your curls cool very nicely. And then we're just gonna go ahead and start forming this bottom section. So I'm just gonna release a couple pins here. And you can see just that this is the kind of spring you wanna have to your curls whenever you release them out of your pins. So next I'm gonna take a little bit of our Big Sexy Hair Fundraiser, another totally holy grail product of mine. This is a texture spray. So Fundraiser, I like to say it also double duties as a dry shampoo, because it really will absorb, if you have excess oils in the bangs, through the top portion or around the hairline, it's totally going to absorb those oils, but it's also going to give you volume too. But best part about it is that it doesn't make your hair feel dirty. So that's my number one gripe, is whenever we use a dry shampoo or a texture spray, if our hair is freshly washed, now it feels a little gritty and a little I need to wash it again. So Fundraiser will not make clean hair feel dirty. So it's fantastic when you've freshly washed and styled your client. Yay, someone loves the texture spray. Yay. So whenever you freshly washed your client and you really sometimes the client almost cringes when they see us use too much product on their hair, because they're like, oh, I want this blowout to last a week. I don't want too much product. I remind them right before I use this that this product will not make your hair feel sticky or dirty. It'll actually make it feel cleaner for longer, and the volume and the style will last longer. So again, that is Fundraiser. Let me try to get the glare off of there. Awesome, awesome product. So this one give it a good shake. Just like any dry shampoo or texture spray, you really wanna make sure all of those ingredients are dispersed really well, because if we don't, sometimes we can get a little bit of a white cast onto the hair. Blonde hair, not a big deal, but if she had dark hair, could be an issue. So by shaking the can really well, that's how you're gonna avoid that issue. So just spraying each strand thoroughly with Fundraiser. And then just coming back and just giving a really soft, delicate back comb at the root. And this is really kind of expanding that like pillowy type volume that we got from High Standards. We don't want to compact this hair too much, especially right next to her face. You know, take the brush, kind of smooth that out a little bit, but really lock in your back combing. And then we're going to drop down our next section and just build upon that. I'm going to do 2 pins at a time. And again, you'll come through with some Fundraiser. I like to spray both sides of the section because, especially with a product like Fundraiser, it's really going to sit on the surface that you spray it onto. So if I sprayed the back but not the front isn't going to have that same support. So anytime you're using really a dry shampoo, a hairspray, any type of spray product, it's important to make sure you get the back and the front. And then again, and I always like to move really delicately, especially with a hair type that can tend to fuzz out and get a little, you know, it can get a little just flyaways, and sometimes I call it spider web hair whenever it just kind of tends to float around all over the place. A lot of times with those hair types, you have to have a lot of control with your hands. So as you're working, you know, just having delicate movements with your hands, and as the hair is going through your hands, making sure that it's placed nicely, it's not catching on your rings, on your nails, on different things like that. And then again, giving just a little bit of that kind of pillowy back combing. Just really delicate. And then we do have a little part back here, a little section in between curls. So just visually, you know, using your mirror or your camera, just kind of work to camo that just a little bit. And one thing that I did with this curl set that was a little bit unique, typically whenever we do like a glam curl set, we're taking all of those sections horizontally, and that's a great look whenever, especially if you want to create something that feels more like a bob, because horizontal curls will really draw up the length and spring it up. But what I knew is that my model here did not have the length that was in the photo. And so if I curled her horizontally, her ends would now be up like a bob, and it would feel much more like Marilyn Monroe versus Christina Aguilera. So what I did differently was I went through and I did the same type of curl pattern, but I did those vertically. And so when we switched to vertical curl patterns, now it's more of an elongated position on the head versus the length getting, you know, kind of sucked up into the curl. By using a vertical section here, it allows that curl to be a little bit more elongated, and that's going to preserve some length. So if you have a client and you're like, oh gosh, their hair is no way near long enough as the inspo picture, but they need those curls, switch it up to a vertical curl pattern and you'll have just a little bit, it'll preserve a little bit more length for you. Okay, so continuing through more, get layered, both sides. And feel free if you guys have any questions about, you know, any new products, any existing products. You've probably noticed if you've, you know, been into Salon Centric over the last couple years, or even seen Sexy Hair at hair shows or different places, we have updated a lot of our packaging. And so, you know, if you haven't got that full rundown yet of, you know, what happened with these products, where did all the products that were in the pink bottles or the orange bottles, or like, where did they go? What we did is we consolidated, we had a lot of systems. So we consolidated them down to Big, Healthy, and Style. So a lot of your favorite products, if you're like, oh shoot, they discontinued it, it's not here anymore. we actually just moved it into a different system. So make sure if you're at Salon Centric, talk to your sales associates. They're super helpful with helping you, especially with the changes that we've done with Sexy Hair. They'll know exactly where that product is that you're looking for. We kept the names the same, so they might just be in a different outfit, but it's the same girl. And then also we've added lots of new products to our system. So definitely make sure you're diving into these new products because they're really cool, honestly, especially High Standards. I feel like between High Standards and Fundraiser, so the blow dry spray that I used and the texture spray, those two, they're newer to our lineup, but they are so good. I really encourage you guys to check those ones out. Those are two products that I use on just about every client because a lot of my clients, I would say my main clientele is about, they're probably, I would say like later 30s into 60s. So a lot of people that are in that age range have started to experience a little bit of thinning. Maybe they've had some babies, maybe they've had some health stuff, or maybe they've just lived life and our hair just tends to do that over the years. So I love those two products because everyone needs volume, everyone needs fullness that passes through my chair. So those products really do get used up a ton. So you can be confident, if you buy one for yourself and one for your shelf, it's the one for your shelf is gonna be sold, and if it's not gonna be sold, you're gonna use it because you love it so much. So I find that those are really safe products to kind of invest in whenever it's a product that you know for a fact you're gonna use behind the chair. Then of course the clients are gonna eventually purchase it because they're gonna be like, wow, every time I come to her, she uses, or him, or they use the same exact product on me and my hair looks fantastic. Like I'm finally gonna ask her what it is and how much it is and I can buy it. So whenever we're consistent like that and we're using those same products on the client, it kind of shows them that like you almost have like you build a history with that product with the client. So I think that's a really good thing to be kind of consistent with that, but then also making sure that those products are available on your shelves, even if it's just, one or two. I think for salon suite owners, it can be a little bit difficult to stock a ton of products, but honestly, having good retail sales really is more like selling a couple products a day. It really doesn't have to be, selling through your whole shelf every week. Solid product sales really are, selling 2, 3, maybe 4 products a day. And that's really, even that few products a day for a salon suite owner is going to increase your revenue by the end of the year. And then I feel like in that, whenever it's phrased that way too, we have it's less daunting. It feels less like a task that we have to accomplish. And then it just ends up being something that we naturally share. I always like to share with my clients as I'm putting in the product, I say, so this is a blow dry spray. I chose it for your hair because it's soft, it gives shine, it makes blow drying easy, and I think you'll love it. Like it's as simple as that. So often I think we overcomplicate talking about retail to our clients, but it really boils down to letting them know what it is, what this product is, what it does, and why you think it would be good for their hair. And whenever you add in that why you think it would be good for their hair, that's the personal note that our clients really pick up on. They start to think like, wow, this person is actually thinking about me and my hair and what would be good for it. And so it's a way to prescribe a product without, shoving it down their throat. So through these sections on this side, once I got through and just kind of started polishing and forming, this can be a really delicate portion of the style. So I always like to kind of work on the surface. I'm moving the brush, or the comb, I'm moving it just on the surface of the hair, not necessarily like diving in too deep and disrupting the back combing and disrupting all that work. Really just letting that curl pattern shine through and creating the style. Because with that solid curl pattern in there, it's going to fall. We kind of have to manipulate it, of course, but it will eventually fall into that pattern. And once it does, that's totally where you want to start locking it in. So I'm going to use just a little bit of our Big Sexy Hair Spritz and Stay. This is a non-aerosol hairspray. This product has been around for ages, but I feel like it hasn't gotten the attention and the love that it really deserves. A non-aerosol hairspray is so great for so many things. I personally love it. Those hair types, or you've done a style and say maybe in reality they have a lot of flyaways, but when you look at it, it doesn't. Then you spray it with hairspray, and sometimes those little flyaways are now highlighted. They've got, it's usually the accelerant. Sometimes there can be a little bit of an issue sometimes with certain hair types with aerosols. So what I love with Spritz and Stay is that you don't have that issue. So I absolutely love it, especially for a blonde, because the flyaways are endless with blondes. It's such a great product being non-aerosol because you can just give it a light mist and the product will just, you know, almost soak into the hair versus sitting on the exterior. It's also great. I love it for when I'm working on set, or excuse me, on location doing weddings, especially if it's a small room, because if I'm spraying a lot of aerosols in a small room and, you know, I don't know the family, I don't know the friends, and someone has an allergy or someone's sensitive, then it's a little abrasive to have a bunch of aerosols spraying in a room with a bunch of people you don't know. So I love having Spritz and Stay on location with me for weddings because of that exact thing, just in case someone's allergic, just in case someone's sensitive. But beyond all that, even if no one is allergic or sensitive, the shine factor and just the hold factor is going to be supreme. So your hold factor, it's going to be a shine, a 10 out of 10, and hold factor, 10 out of 10. It's going to be extremely strong and wonderful for these kind of styles. And it's still going to give movement to the hair too. What I like, you guys can see I'm spritzing the hair and I'm patting it, and the hair is not sticking to my hands. That's another thing that I really love, is that sometimes when you're working with hairsprays, you can touch them and then the hair sticks and you've got to like peel it off your hands and it's just awful. But this one, you guys, obviously I'm spraying, patting it, nothing is sticking. So it dries rather quickly, but still gives you that movement and manageability.